Hey guys, welcome back to the How to Build series where I'm going through every single champion in the game, rare and above, and putting together kind of a quick reference guide for newer players, earlier game players who need a little guidance with a particular hero. I won't be going into masteries and late game strats and builds because that gets a little specific and convoluted, and depending on how you want to use a champion is going to kind of dictate what you do there. So we're really just talking about earlier game stuff for newer players who aren't really sure how to best utilize a champion. So quick disclaimer before I get into it. I'm not saying my way is the best way, or that it's the only way, or that I know better than everybody else. I'm just trying to put these helpful guides out for the newer players who feel like they need some guidance. So I am going to run right through this. So go ahead and get the notepad ready, get ready on the pause and rewind button, and let's go ahead and talk about Valerie. She's a Bannerlord's support champ. She's got pretty nice base HP, pretty decent. I mean, some supports generally have higher base HP, but hers is still not bad. Decent enough base defense, and then her speed is hovering right around 100, so it's okay. It'd be nice if it was a little bit higher, but again, her base stats are fine. There's nothing glaring here that's awful. So as far as her skills, first skill attacks one enemy. It's very standard, nothing special about it. Second skill, this one's kind of fun. Increases the duration of all buffs on all allies by 1 turn. Also decreases the duration of all debuffs on all allies by 1 turn. Then places a 25% increased attack buff on all allies for 2 turns. Now this is really cool because let's say you've got someone speed buffing your team or putting any sort of buff on your team. When she uses a skill, it's going to extend that by 1 turn. So let's say Apothecary puts like a 2-turn speed buff on your team. Then she can come in behind and turn that into a 3-turn speed buff, right? She gives it an extra turn. And at the same time, if the enemy's putting things on you like a defense break or an attack break or any sort of debuff, if it's on its last turn, she just cleanses it off. She gets rid of it, so you don't have to go 1 more turn with it. Otherwise, she just shortens the amount of time that it's on you. So it's a really nice little skill. Has a lot of utility. It's really useful, especially if you've got other buffers on the team or you're going against a team of debuffers. She's going to do her best to keep you strengthened and clean of debuffs as much as possible. So that's pretty cool. And you can get it down to a 3-turn cooldown. So pretty nice little skill, pretty fun. Third skill, places a shield buff on all allies for 2 turns. The value of the shield depends on this champion's level. Heals each ally according to the number of buffs they are currently under. Now, this is cool because 1, shield buffs are always nice. They mitigate the damage that you take to your HP, and that's always a good thing. She also heals on this skill. Now, I don't know how it scales based on the number of debuffs. I just don't know. I don't know where the documentation is for that, and but I assume that regardless, it's a decent enough heal, considering that it's an AoE heal. Anytime you can get an AoE heal, that's nice, and it's going to benefit you in a lot of different places. There are, of course, better healers in the game, but considering she stacks a shield on top of the heal, that's going to be nice. And she has 2 buffs herself to give you. She can increase your attack, and then she puts the shield buff on you, and to my understanding of the way the skill is worded, she heals afterwards. So regardless, there's going to be a buff, at least 1 buff on you when she heals you, which means the heal is going to scale up a little bit. So this is nice because she's farmable. So she's a farmable AoE healer. She's nice support. She's got shield for extra protection, and then she's got this nice little skill that potentially cleanses and extends buffs that are on your team. So places where she's going to be useful, you could take her a lot of places early game, and she's going to be useful because she's support. She's there to heal, she's there to protect, she's there to boost the team. So a campaign, she's going to be a great campaign support. She's going to be a great dungeon support. She could even be a decent arena support. And honestly, you could even take her into clan boss. She's not bringing a lot of utility in the way of doing damage to the clan boss, but as far as protecting your team, giving your team the attack buff, knocking those debuffs off your team, and shielding and healing, that's a lot of utility to get out of 1 champ, so you can fill your other 4 spots with damage dealers. I actually recently put out a video about the clan boss for beginners, and I gave you a bunch of commons and a few uncommons that it would even have utility in clan boss, and she could be your healer. She could fill that healer spot, and that's also, again, great because she's farmable. She's easily obtainable, she's easy to skill up, and she's worth the investment, because while she may fall off as you progress through the game, as you get into mid and start to transition into late especially, she's going to fall off a bit, but you're going to get so much out of her in the early game and mid game. There's no reason not to go ahead and invest in her. You could certainly take her up to 5-star, and it would be well worth the investment. So as for artifacts, you want her fast and you want her tanky. She's not around to do damage, so you can completely ignore attack. She has no debuffs, so you can completely ignore accuracy. So she's going to be pretty easy to build. You want her to be fast, and you want her to have a lot of HP. And any defense you can get is a nice bonus, and then any resistance you can get is a nice bonus, because what you don't want is your support, your healer, and your cleanser to be getting stunned or crowd controlled in any way. So I would focus on HP sets and speed sets for her. That's really where I think the money's going to be. And you want to go HP percentage on the gloves, HP percentage on the armor, speed on the boots. And then in your substats, you can look for HP percentage, speed, of course, and then resistance and defense would be a nice little bump. But that's all she needs. She's not super stat hungry. She's going to be really easy to build, really easy to scale up, and she doesn't even need complicated sets. Like I said, HP and speed sets are going to be where the money's at for her. So she's a nice, solid, early game into mid-game champion. She's farmable. She's got a lot of utility. She's easy to build. There's not a lot of bad things to say about Valerie. I am a fan, and I have some plans for her for some future videos and some things I'm putting out. So you'll get to see her in action in some of the things that I've mentioned here. So I think my rating for her out of 10, I think 7 is probably a pretty reasonable rating. I think for the utility that you can get out of her, and mixed with how easy she is to build, and the fact that she's farmable, all that, everything you can do with her early game, and as you push your way into mid game, I think she's pretty above average, to be honest. She's solid. She covers a lot of different bases. She fills a lot of different roles, and I think you're going to get a lot out of her. So I'm a fan, and I think you could really put her to use. So that's going to wrap it up for Valerie. I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments below. If you have any comments about Valerie, if you're using her and you think she's better than I said or worse than I said, or you're getting something out of her that maybe I didn't think about or mention in this video, feel free to drop it in the comments. We want as much information down there as we can get for players that are watching these videos. And that'll do it. I appreciate you watching. If this wasn't your champion, be on the lookout. Your champion is on the way. I am going to go through every single champion in the game and do a guide like this. And if you want to catch me live on Twitch, I stream every weekday at 6 p.m. Eastern at twitch.tv/JGigs. Other than that, I appreciate you watching. Hope it helped, and I'll see you guys in the next one.